go. And we've already dropped frames. Woo! Oh geez, we're dropping a punch. Yeah, it's almost to the point where I might need to step in and fix something. Okay, this is weird. Can I hear myself? I can't tell because I wasn't speaking. Okay, this is, whoa. Yes. Okay. Camera keeps going out of focus. I have dropped 500 frames, about half of them. So this is going well. There's no way this is gonna end well. So took a while. Video output low. Well, yeah. I think I need to talk to my apartment complex. I think their internet is broke. Because it seems like it's happening at specific times, which seems to indicate heavy usage. Which, if that's the case, then I think we can fix that. Hello, welcome back. The stream is breaking, but that's all right. We're gonna keep going anyway. I want to get this at least working. So I'm gonna just push on and assume that that's going to fix itself. It looks very stuttery to me, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. So things we need to get done include finishing the level, because that's actually impossible right now, transitioning to a new level, and I think that's it. Maybe death, if we're going to add death in. Maybe we could add that in as we go. Because at least the initial levels, you're not going to be able to die. So we will see. But the goal here, if everything goes smoothly, I want to get a demo out by the end of tonight or really early tomorrow. So somebody else can play it and tell me what they think. And then we can go from there. But I'm going to work on, we already got the scene loading. There's a scene manager here where I can load a new scene like this. We spent way more time than I should have on this, but it's working now. So now we need to get that actually incorporated into something less awful. So what I've been thinking is our background for this is not blue, or is not black. Now it is. So that's pitch black. What I'm thinking is if you go into that portal, the entire screen, actually we could probably just do like a camera zoom. Should we though? Is that a good idea? I'm not so sure it is. Actually, hold on. Parallax. We could totally do parallax just like, well, kind of like that. That might be a bit weird. Okay. I should have been able to think of things while I was eating and then rocking out to random music, but I wasn't really concerned, honestly. All right. So when we hit this portal, I want it to explode into a bunch of things. So we're going to have a transition effect. So the effect I'm thinking is it's going to explode. Black is going to cover the entire screen, and then it's going to, those particles are going to disappear, and the underworld, the second world, is going to fade in. So those particles are going to need to fill the screen, be completely opaque, and then fade out to reveal the underworld, and then this circle is just going to shrink it. At least that's the idea. So to start off with, we need this to be massive. That actually didn't work. I'm not even a little bit surprised. Undo, there we go. Okay. Ignoring that was a silly idea. Would have been cool if it worked though. Streams down. Send help. I feel like this is how you build a reputation. Alright. So we're gonna scale it like this. So we have a massive black circle. Technical difficulties. As usual. Yeah, so for some reason, it seems between like 9 and midnight, everything is broken. Oddly though, this is what I found weird when I was testing this last night. I only have issues with video. The audio seems to come through even as the videos or as the thing is stuttering. So I don't know what exactly is going on, but I'm currently dropping about 50% of everything. So I imagine the entire thing is super stuttery, which isn't great. But I'd like to figure out why this circle is so broken. We have... Oh, I know what's going on. We had a collider enabled. Which I can't turn off. Interesting. Actually, better idea. We're wasting a bunch of time with this. We don't need to. We can just keep this here and make a second circle. Because why not? That does exactly the same thing. So we don't need to worry about any of that. This... what is drawing you? Is it the quad? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So we just need this quad to be enormous. Actually. So transition effect. And so we can make this specific quad and scale it down and then fade it out and delete it. So hopefully, yeah, we get this. And then just on a one-dimensional example, why did I make this so huge? We can do something like this and shrink it down. It's a circle, so it'll work. We can shrink it so it's smaller than the other one, or just shrink it down to 0. And then delete it. So when it gets to 0, we can just remove it because it will be consumed by the inner one. Yeah, I don't know what to say about the stream quality. Like I've said in the past, I've checked everything on my end, so it's something upstream, which if it's at the apartment, they're not going to fix it over the weekend. And if it's my ISP, they're also not going to fix it over the weekend. So I just have to hope it works. And then if there's something that you guys want to come back for, there will be a full complete thing that I'll run through, and I will edit out some of the bits and make the audio hopefully a little bit better, because stream audio can get a little bit hairy, but that will come up sometime next week. So player level transition. So what we want is we want to just give it a public transform of transition, I guess. So we could use an animation here. It might actually be easier, but I'm not going to because we're scripting everything else, so might as well script this too. So we're going to add a speed, which is just going to speed up this transition. So I can transition dot local scale times or equals our vector3 dot lerp of our local scale down to 0. So vector3 dot 0. So we're just fading it to 0 at our time delta times our speed. So if our speed is 2, it'll take half a second. If our speed is 4, it'll take a quarter of a second, and so forth. And that's just going, well, I say that, but that's not actually true. It will speed it up by that much. It won't necessarily take that long. It's going to be more of an exponential curve. So now that we have this, I want to test if our transition dot local scale dot say x is less than 1. Then destroy this dot, or destroy transition and destroy this. So we're going to destroy this script and we're going to destroy the transition dot game object, which might be a bit ambitious, but we're going to see what happens. So we've got the transition effect. If I drop this on there, where is it? I actually don't like this. We're going to click float initial size. Set that equal to, say, 1,000. And then transition dot local scale vector3 dot 1 times the initial size. The reason we're doing this is so that we don't just have a giant black background, because that's impossible. There's no good way to edit when it looks like this. So this way I can just keep it at like 1, and then we can update it later. So if I plug that in there and make like the speed 1, we should get a collapse over time. Yeah, so we get that. Now we just need to make it way faster. So multiply that by 16 and see what happens. I lied. We won't do 16. Multiply that by 4 and see what happens. Okay, I lied. We'll multiply that by... Actually, it's occurring to me that this isn't going to work because there's... So that time delay of actually starting is counted, I believe, in the time delta. There's a delay with the first frame. So how can we deal with that in testing? I don't know. Yeah, so it does look better, but you may not actually see this transition the first time you test it in like the editor, just because of the way everything works. Larg. So while you guys were away, while I was doing my own thing, I kind of worked on this, which is sort of just a jigsaw. You can't actually finish it because you can't get any smaller than this. But the top bit's a bit interesting because you can flip up there if you're good. which I'm clearly not, which is bad when you're not good at your own game. But we can... I don't know. It kind of plays with the climbing mechanic, but it does it worse than we had previously. Mostly just as a test. It's more or less just a ladder that I was playing with. We can prevent ourselves from getting stuck by pulling that over that way. And then see what's going on. But, portal. We were working on the portal. So we have a transition effect, which will play automatically when we spawn this world circle. So that means we just added this to every single level. It automatically has that. Well, you didn't, that was just a black flash, but you get the idea. So what should we do next? Which means the speed needs to be between 0 and 10-ish. And the total size needs to be between 0.5 and 10. Yeah, that might be a bit much. That actually is probably way too much. But I'm sure it works, so we'll leave it for now. I'm going to add a size over lifetime thing, and we'll just have it curve up. Which this may not actually work. I'm going to turn looping off, get here, play. We explode. I need to turn the duration down to like 0.5. This way we just get a bunch of particles and then nothing. That was wrong. Play that. It doesn't quite give us enough time. We need these to move a bit faster, and we need more particles. So I am going to emit 5,000 a second. That gets us the effect we wanted. I'm sure that's not efficient in any way whatsoever, but it looks cool. And that's what games are all about, right? It's not about making something that like scales or is efficient or, you know, does anything else. It's just about that and making it look sweet. So that's our level transition effect, which means you need to be disabled. Actually, no. It means we just need to turn off play on awake. Done. So I think that's it. We just need to now hit that, play the particle effect. That doesn't actually work, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. Just for testing, we're going to turn play on awake back on and just disable this for now. And then this way I can actually enable it when I want to play it. So like if I hit that and then play, that covers the screen and then fades out. And then we'd theoretically be on a new level, and that we'd spawn our new player. Which means we now need to calculate the total time we have. It takes 4 seconds there. How long until it starts fading? 90%. So 4 times 0.9. What's that, like 3.6 something? Something around there. So around 3.5 seconds. So effects. We need a transition complete. Or let's just do a level transition effect. So this you just call, and it emits the new level transition. And then we'll send out an event that you can hang on to actually trip the scene manager to load its new scene. I think that makes sense. We already know how to attach an event, so we should be good. What's the worst that can happen? Public Unity event? No, just an event. We're going to call this our transition complete. Yeah, sure. Why not? Transition complete. And then we need a public void begin, I guess. It's as good as anything. Public particle system particles. So when you begin this, the particles will play. Sure. We'll play the particles and we'll begin a timer. Float. This is the part where we should really be using an animation or something. I'm not going to do that again because scripting. Woo! What are we doing? Transition time. And we are going to transition over that time. After that time, we need to kick something off, so we need a timer. So generally, there's two ways to do timers. I traditionally have done it the bad way, which isn't really a bad way at all. It's just more prone to error. So the two ways are you keep, so effectively what we'd do is we'd say particles.play, we'd set our timer equal to the time.time. So if I do this, we have a constant, and then I just compare this time and this time, and then see if it's different by the transition time. And we can do it that way. Or we can do what I always do and just do a timer plus equals, or minus equals actually, time.delta time. Which, the problem with this is if you're doing a particularly long timer, you get a lot of floating point errors because this happens every frame. So depending on the floating point error, you could be off by a bit, and I don't know if that matters or not, but it's a thing. So keep that in mind, I guess. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but I did. So there you go. If our timer is less than 0, is that what I want? Timer equals timer.time. I don't know. Private bool started? This is getting grosser as I go. Started equals true. And we'll initialize this to be false. If timer is, or if started, do all of this, and everything else, don't. So timer is less than 0, then kick off our particles, or kick off our transition complete event. Dot invoke. So we just call that, and then everything just does its thing. So this way we can actually just attach this, have this called the scene manager, and it should just work. I say that a lot when I say things should just work. Most of the time they probably shouldn't just work. Usually when something doesn't work, it's probably because it shouldn't work. I just say that because I want things to work. Let's see. Level transition effect. I'm actually going to stick you on the world portal itself. Because why not? I don't want it to be looping, but I don't want it to play on awake. There we go. And then our transition time, we said like 3.5 was a good time. And so that's when it will load our new thing, and then call the scene manager something. I don't know if I actually have the function available. I do not. So if activate, oh right, we had this weird activate thing. If I delete this, we can drop all of update and just say public void begin scene transition. So this does have the side effect that our scene manager needs to know the next level that you're supposed to go to, which may not be the best design. But who cares? Because it's a game jam game. It's designed to be sort of quirky and not the best. I shouldn't say it's designed that way. It just, in order to get this done, you kind of have to cut corners. That's sort of the downside, I guess, of game jams and things, is they're not always the best as far as like programming practices and things go. Anyway, we need to begin this level transition effect when we hit this portal. So theoretically, trigger, dynamic trigger. When we trigger this, I want to just invoke the level transition effect, which I didn't make public. Of course I didn't make it public. Actually, yes I did. There we go. So we have a trigger, which is this circle, this tiny little circle collider in here. Let's actually make that a bit bigger. Not that big. Just so you actually don't feel like you missed something when you clearly didn't. And so when we go over here, you know, it worked, but at the same time it failed miserably. That, oh, duh, the particle system's disabled. I thought I enabled you. Oh well. So if I go over here, bang, and then it works. Not the smoothest. It needs more work, but that's what we're here for, is to make this work. So I don't know the best way to do it though. Let's see. Particle system. That starts fading out. It looked like things were happening a bit sooner than I had calculated. So we're going to move that up a bit. Partially probably because it's async. It does get annoying when it like this, because I have to kind of guess, I guess, because so there is a loading time that's hidden here, and so you may miss that squeezing back in transition, because that black is going to still be there, but I'm kind of curious why it isn't transitioning until that particle system completes. Is that normal? That doesn't seem like it's normal. Because it doesn't seem like wherever I change this transition time to, that it matters in any way whatsoever. So let's grow you. This isn't working. Woo! Victory! We're not even transitioning anymore. Yeah, we're not even moving. What? Huh. I appear to have broken my game. Okay, and now it works. What? So close, yet so far. So, apparently, if you hit it twice, it breaks. That's good to know. We should fix that. How do we fix that? I don't know. I think we should just disable everything. That sounds like a really bad idea. Like a really, really bad idea, actually. But it'd work. I am resetting the timer. Well, yeah. But then it should finish again, right? So we'd set it back up to wherever. I guess we can started, or if not started. That will cover that. But actually, I guess that kind of does. Yeah, that's so I was considering just disabling the collider. But this might actually fix it. Maybe. We'll find out. So I just need to build this to maximum size. Yeah, no, still being weird. Good news is it doesn't play what? Why would the Why would a level load take that long? That's going to be really annoying. Because that means I can't predict it. Yeah, I agree. This is running off of an absurdly fast SSD. There is no reason that should have loading this should have taken that long. There's no reason for that to happen. Well, there is one way to fix this. Get rid of that async. Problem solved. Like, that fixes it. But does it fix it in the right way? No. But at least it fixes it. In the sense that the particles don't disappear. It doesn't fix it by making it any faster. It won't make it any faster. I would hope it doesn't make it any faster. That would be even more weird than we're already experiencing. But part of my concern is I don't want it to like evaporate all the particles and then the player just be like, what's going on? And then 10 seconds later be like, oh, look, a new level. So I think actually doing this non-asynchronously and just having it like stop. And I agree, destroying unload, we're going to have to get rid of that. I've been keeping it just to test so that it doesn't persist. And I also want it to not stack up. Like, so there's a, what is it called? Onload. What's it called? It's not called not destroy unload. It's called like, did they take this out and make it something else? Maybe. Okay. Whatever I'm thinking of doesn't exist. So this dot game object. This dot game object. So that should solve it. I'm actually going to remove that there. Is this a good idea? This probably isn't a good idea. I'm going to put it... No, this is a bad idea. We're going to... Particles.play. Right after that, we're going to put it here. So this way, if they like quit or go back to the main menu, we don't have a bunch of these floating around randomly because these are a pain to deal with. So don't destroy unload if we play it. And then when we complete whatever we're doing, then I want to stop things. How do we stop things? Don't destroy unload. What is the best way to do this? Particles dot active. So there's a way to get the number of active particles. But I don't remember how to do that. Time, subemitters, random seeds. I don't know. Particle count. Found it. So if our particle count is greater else if not started destroy unload true. The problem is we were in the start method, and so something can get started after that. So we just can't initialize it in the start is what I was kind of getting at, is there's no way to do it there, to my knowledge, and still have it work. Unless I'm missing something, which is very possible. So if our particle count is 0, then we want to destroy this .game object, but only if we're started and our timer is less than 0. So if we started, we've emitted particles, and there's none left, then we destroy it. So theoretically, that should cover the transition. So that should happen, and it goes away. Well, that didn't work. And then these are flipped. So old scene, new scene. So now we're unloading the old scene, keeping the new scene. Everything should be good. Only works on root game objects. Well, that's annoying. This transform dot parent equals null. So this is gross, and we probably shouldn't do this, but I'm just going to move this into its own. When we start transitioning, I'm going to move this out of the hierarchy, out of the scene graph, and then make it not destroy. So just kind of unparent it from anything. So it's just off by itself, doing its own particle-y thing, which theoretically should solve the problem. Boom. And then it fades away. Scene to unload is invalid, because that scene is already unloaded. Because we are doing a single non-additive load. Because the additive one was being annoying. There we go. Victory, splat, and we're back. So part of the issue that could happen, this transition, you could start playing the game before you intend to, before your player gets there. And I'm not sure that's a good thing, but I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I don't know if we can solve that. Cool thing is we can kind of win the game. You saw it trans already, and we're like on the bottom of now. So maybe we should add like a press any button to continue or something. That's an easy solution, and it gets us on away from this problem. It's not a good fix, but it moves us past it, which might be a good move. Let's see. Do that. It transitions. I'm gonna kick this transition effect back up so it actually happens closer to when we expect it to. Transition time, we're gonna set that to 3 seconds. And I think was that correct? I got lost. Hold on. Level transition effect. This dot parent dot game object. That's not what I want, actually. I want the particles dot transform dot game object. Right? Yeah, because I don't want to take the entire portal with us. I just want to take the particle emitter. So we're just going to take the game object for whatever the particles are attached to. Everything else, well, actually, I'm saying that now, but I don't, There might be some other issues there. So I'm gonna undo that, and we'll get past it when we do. All right. So, victory, transition, new level. I feel like we need to make the level transition happen even faster. Uh, 2 seconds, max speed 20, size between 5 and 15. Go. That feels better. And then we can test it quickly. The timing is going to be a little bit messed up, but it worked, and we got everything swapped out. Why did that work though? If the total lifespan of the particles is 2 seconds, the duration is 0.5, so 2.5. How come after 3 seconds, everything is working? That would be a massive floating point error. Like, getting into the thousands getting into the thousands place. That's pretty significant, actually. Like, starting to get concerned area. I think we're gonna ignore it for now. Like, I think we've spent a lot of time on making this look good. The shrinking circle. So yes, the shrinking circle already exists. We already built that. There's a transition effect on the player that actually shrinks them in, which you may or may not be able to see. Yeah, you can't see that. So this is applied to every player if I disable that immediately. And then enable it, you get sort of a shrink onto the player. That's still going to be there. We're going to kind of do a composition of the two effects and see what happens. So that's on the prefab, so it should just be applied everywhere. May not be applied in that other test scene, simply because that one may not have the prefabs. And it doesn't. So if we applied the prefabs here, then it would. But that's a lot of work, so we're not going to. And that's... Actually, yeah, we're just going to save over that other scene. And that should fix that problem. In before I regret that. Anyway. Well, this is going to transition to itself. But you get the idea. Kind of works. I still don't like the fact that it... Ooh, that was weird. Bugs. So many bugs. Yeah, not sure what caused that to be weird right there. I'm gonna pretend like it's nothing, like I always do. Till it becomes something, we're gonna pretend like it's not. Uh, which I'm sure that's a terrible idea. But shrinkage. It's sort of there. I would say it's not pronounced at all, but I think that's fine. Between the two effects, though, the goal is for those two effects to kind of make up the transition. That we don't care about. This, well, I disabled it, so oops. Okay. So there was no transition going on. Now there is. And you can kind of see it zooms back in. Depends on how long it takes to load, but it sort of works. So at this point, we have effectively a full game. I say effectively because it's a crap game, but we can make it better. There's no mechanically, it kind of sucks. And there's a bunch of other things that I really am not too sure about. But I think it's a good foundation. We can build on this. So we have a portal. We have our player. We have the scene transitions. We don't have a way to. We don't have like a main menu or anything for selecting stuff, and we don't really have anything else, which probably is not great. I'm trying to think if there's other things that I really want to get done, or if it's just level design, and that's a lot of like the level design stuff. I'll probably am gonna do that off stream just because it's easier for me to have like just a pen and paper and just write that out. And then usually afterwards I'll kind of tinker with things, but I kind of just brainstorm ideas and then throw them out there. So that'll happen off stream, probably sometime overnight. And then we'll come back tomorrow. I will do music, sound effects, levels, and then a main menu. And then we're good. And as we do the levels, we'll kind of think of more mechanics like the pistons and things and throw those in there. But I'm trying to think if I want to get more done now, or if I want to kind of step back and just focus on mechanics, and then come back at that tomorrow morning and really get that working. Because I'm not sure exactly what I'm thinking yet. Good news. Our dropped frame percentage is now down to 15%, which means we are dropping like an eighth of all of the frames in this recording instead of like 50%. So that's good. It was 90% yesterday, so we're dropping pretty significantly. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually not. It's still too high. But we have transitions. I like the transitions. I actually kind of like all of the animations. The only animation we don't have that I should add is a teleporting one. So let's do that now before I sign off. And then the rest of it we can do later. So I just totally broke everything. That's cool. There we go. Centered, and we'll set those to 1. You are the wrong size. Lifetime 0.1. And so 0.1 and like 0.3 seconds. And it'll move between 2 and 4. So boom. Not that. We don't want that. Max particles 50. And we will emit 100 per second. Still too big. Way too big. 0.1. And 0.15. Make it blue. Trying to kind of match the color of our player themselves. And then we'll do 0 there. Drop that down. Let's just make this loop for now. Well, this is disappointing. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting something. We want to pick up the color of our... Kind of looks like sparkles already, which wasn't really what I was going for. Did they add 2D collision? So I'm thinking we make it smaller than it already is. 0.05 and like 0.1. So it looks tiny, which is actually good. Increase the lifespan. And drop the speed. And change our shape to be 0. And that will kind of looks all right ish. Don't need any color over lifetime. Don't need it to fade out or anything. Size over lifetime. Let's have it fade out. That sort of works. Increase the life a bit, 0.5. 0.75. Yeah. I think we can get this to work. Change the duration so it only play for 0.10 seconds. Or 0.1 seconds, so a tenth of a second. And it will emit 1,000 particles. Because why not? Alright, that should be good. I just want to see if it can bounce off of things. The answer is yes. The answer is maybe. You're not working very well. Ooh. Ooh. Performance is garbage. Absolute garbage. Okay, that's gone away. Yeah, that doesn't look great. But we're gonna stick this on world 2. So it's only drawn inside of the circle. So I can put it like there, and it won't go outside, which should hopefully make it look a little bit better. And then this way, we have our transition particles. We automatically play. We have looping off. Throw the transition particles there. And then where's our ghost flip? We need a game object for teleport effect, I guess. So just something to create. All right. game object, we're going to create a new teleport effect at our new position. Because we just teleported, so this should work fine. Then we'll do a quaternion identity just to kind of spawn somewhere. And now that we have that, I should just be able to plug in the teleport effect and everything should work. This is going to be bad because we don't delete these at all. Ooh, I just won the game. I didn't mean to do that. Ignore that. Whee! Yeah, so we get some sort of particles going on. The colors don't match, and that annoys me a bit. So we may have to fix that. I don't know how, but I would like them to like match identically, so it kind of looks like they just kind of went zoop, because then we can kind of have it like condense to a player and look kind of cool. We can actually do a lot of really cool effects with this like masking strategy we have. Like we can do like shockwaves and all sorts of cool stuff. So particle transition works. The problem, which I didn't even show, I should stop making levels that are so easy to win. But the problem is these transition particles never go away, which kind of sucks. So let's do just a delete after time script. These are common, they're all over the place. And I think actually there's just a destroy over time. So this game object time, like so. Create a public float of the time. And this just creates a coroutine that runs after however many seconds and will destroy your object, which is super simple and it helps clean things up. And that should be all we need for that. Prefabs, player, transition particles. Sure. Just delete after time. We'll delete it after like 5 seconds. It doesn't matter if it stays around just a little bit longer. We're not really using it for that much. So I don't really particularly care. Ooh. Oh, breaking things. Get smaller. There we go. Cool. So now we can do this, and after 5-ish seconds, those transitions go away. So even though I stacked up a bunch of them right now, they'll clear themselves up now. Maybe better World Sim space for ghost swap? I'm not sure I follow you. Can you explain what you're talking about when you're saying the ghost swap? Like I get what the ghost is, but I'm confused with how you're seeing this being used. All right. So now that we have all of this working, I'm going to leave this here for the night and try to come up with some level effects. We kind of already have like this. There's no way to get up now that you're here. Oh, for world space stuff? Actually, yes. That makes sense. I get it. Simulation space world. Got it. Good call. Yeah. No, I did not. It was all local. But good call out. Yeah, definitely looks better now. Cool. All right. So we already have a few mechanics in here. I'm going to take some time and try to figure out how to actually turn this into a game. The goal is to create like 10 levels. I think that's probably a good number for like a jam game. And then that way that we can kind of progress difficulty. It's enough that you can kind of build up to something, but it's not too many that you're just like building a bunch of levels. Any idea what is causing the spasms? Are you talking about in the tail? Like how the tailish thing kind of when it changes position, how it just kind of goes a little bit funky, adds a bunch of vertices. I think I was actually trying to fix that while I was eating. I believe that's caused by this min vertex distance being too short. And it just causes it to do things it shouldn't. The problem is if I make it too big, it stutters a lot and it doesn't actually fix the problem either. But it's something weird happens when it kind of bounces around, like right when it starts like jittering around 0 movement. It doesn't like that very much. So I've tried a few things with like the corner and doing that. We may, if I can't figure out how to solve that, I'm thinking we'll just go back to like a particle system and just have it do almost the same effect but with particles. So it'll look more blobby almost, but it won't have that specific bug, which is annoying. But I've tried, like, if you increase the corner vertices, not that much. But if you increase the corner vertices, you get an even weirder effect because you get like random isolation things, which is also quite weird. I don't know how to that. You get like that weird triangle that just appears. And if you do end caps, you get the same thing. They just are suddenly like roundish. It's like that triangle we showed is suddenly round. But yeah, nothing I tried got rid of it. So we'll probably just go back to the particles. We already have them. So I can just enable those and disable this. And then we just need to actually kind of fix the effect a little bit. But the code is there to get it to work. It just doesn't right now. So it'll probably look more like this when we're done. Just because this actually works. But that's where we are right now, which I'm fairly comfortable with. The game looks good-ish. I don't know. The graphics obviously are just circles and squares, but I don't know. The style almost works. So I'm not too disappointed in it. Now that I'm thinking about it, this circle and this ghost, they're using the wrong thing. What are we calling this? World mask? No. Block? No. What? I could have sworn I made a circle. Maybe it's a texture. Well, okay, whatever. So I'm sure there's some billboarding effect that's happening. Let's see if I can do this. Get it over there. The thing is it doesn't appear. that often. Like I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's caused. I assume it's something weird going on with the billboarding and just the way the effect is rendered. Like they made it better in 5.5, but it's not fixed yet, or it doesn't. I don't think you're ever going to get rid of that effect just because of the way the math comes out. There's just some weird transitions, but we'll have to figure that out. I don't know. I don't know. Like that is immersion breaking, and it happens almost every time you stop, which is a lot. So we'll need to figure it out. But I'm gonna go build a bunch of levels. Try to see what other mechanics we should bring in. See if there's anything like that, and then I imagine it'll probably only take us. The level building is going to take some time, and then audio stuff. I'll probably do that on my own as well. I usually just pull a bunch of things, and it's going to get weird because I don't know how well I can record audio while I'm streaming. I don't think that would work very well, so I might not. I don't think I'll try. Just because with time constraints, audio takes ages anyway. So anyway, I'm rambling again. I always do at the end of things. So I will leave it here, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we finish this. Hopefully, pay attention for like some sort of demo early in the morning tomorrow. I'll post on like Twitter or something and try to at least get this out there, so you guys can kind of let me know what you think of it, and we can improve it from there. Because I'd kind of like to see other people play this quick demo for like 5 minutes and just see what it is, and then kind of use that to kind of shape the final little tweaks we do. But anyway, good night, and I will see you tomorrow.